Okay, fragrance besties, another review coming your way. This is the Discovery Set from June 30th. This is a brand I've seen around for a while, and now they finally have a Discovery Set, and I wanted to try all three of these fragrances, and I am so excited. First one is OG. Now, they sort of describe this as their sort of tribute to bold femininity. It's like a great balance between softness and power, and I have to really agree with that. I think this is my favorite out of the three, and it still smells amazing on here. I would call this your sort of soft floral amber. It definitely has a little bit more of the fruit aspect. So like on some of the notes they say like cherry and rhubarb stalks. I definitely kind of got the rhubarb stalks. Now I will be honest that rhubarb scares me. When I saw that, I thought this was going to be my least favorite. It's actually my favorite, and it has these rhubarb stalks that don't give that sort of sour, astringent rhubarb, and sometimes that can turn skunky on me and like kind of just a smell I do not enjoy. But in this fragrance, it just adds sort of this top green note that's just livens it and freshens it up a little bit. And their amber is not overpowering. I think amber is a note that is very difficult to manage because it adds a little warmth and a little depth to a fragrance, but it can definitely overpower. And here it is a perfect balance. There's also some rose and vetiver that just adds this extra sort of fun note and aspect to it. It's not super floral, it's not super green, and it's not super woody, and it's just perfect balance. And I think that embodies softness and power. It's a soft, feminine, sophisticated, impactful fragrance. There is something about it that slightly reminds me of some other fragrances I have, but it's still very unique. I think this was the first one in their collection, and I am massively impressed. They did something absolutely fantastic with this one. The second one is Vanilla's Muse. I believe this one was inspired by her mother. I absolutely love that. Now, I was expecting a very vanilla fragrance because it's in the title, but I think it's nurturing and it has sort of this unshakable presence that a mother often embodies for us in our lives. I immediately pick up like this powdery sort of almond floral note, and it's not a super sweet almond and it's not a bittersweet almond. It also has some jasmine and violet that just really adds this beautiful floral kind of note and feminine touch. I think the violet definitely adds to that powdery note, and it's not a old lady powdery fragrance, and it is not like a baby powder fragrance. It's just adding sort of this comforting note to it. It has just a hint of vanilla, and on the spray initially there was kind of almost like this sweet candy note that it just reminded me something about candy. I think the best part of this fragrance is that it's not your basic vanilla. It's not super sweet. It's also not like your true vanilla. Like if you want to think of that, like vanilla panifolia is like a truest vanilla. This is kind of in between. It's vanilla that just adds that extra needed oomph and boost to this fragrance and adds that comfort. There's this note of labdanum that really helps round out the fragrance along with tonka. And so it kind of gives it this quiet strength. I think it's a very nice, sophisticated take on vanilla that feels like a comforting embrace from your mom, and it's not super sweet, so I think it's very approachable. It's absolutely fantastic as well. Last, certainly not least, we have Serene Santal, and the tagline for this was "For the woman who never needed saving." This one to me is like a spicy, woody amber that definitely leans a little bit more unisex. So right on the top, I got a sharp hint of cardamom. Cardamom is one spice note that I can sometimes struggle with. Sometimes it's just very overpowering. There's also this note of balsam, and I think balsam to me often makes me feel like something leans a little bit more masculine. Maybe just a lot of the colognes I've smelled and grew up smelling have a balsam note, and that's kind of why I equate it with more of the masculine fragrance. I think the magic for this one really happens on the dry down. You get a cedarwood and a sandalwood, and as we know, I'm a sucker for sandalwood. And there's a little bit of orris, so there's like again, a slight like powdery note to it, and then there's a rum note. And it's not a boozy rum. I think the rum just helps add a depth, a warmth, and a little extra spice that helps offset the cardamom. So it's like it's spicy, but it's not overpowered by one particular note. That rum just helps kind of blend everything together. This is a beautiful unisex one, and I like that there's sort of this more approachable unisex fragrance in the collection. So I think it's just really well thought out. And I think each one has an intentional purpose, and they're all super sophisticated and extremely well done. I can't wait to see what other fragrances come out in this collection. I highly recommend checking out June 30th.